Live. We're live. How do I get the link to this easily? I have to go to my entire channel, don't I? This, again, always with the, Oh, that's the wrong place. That's not the actual stream. That's last week's stream. Always with... Copy. Twitter.com. Paste. Hey, it's Overwatch time. Tweet. And there we have it. That should settle that. So I have with me a Dungeons and Dragons questionnaire. On my second channel a bit ago, I did that that video where I mentioned that those posts where there's a list of questions and it says 1 like equals 1 answer. Yeah, I'm not good at those because I don't ever get to answer all the questions. So instead of doing 1 like equals 1 answer, we're doing 1 point in the challenge equals 1 answer. So at the end of every game, I'm going to look over at what the next D&D question is, and if I won, I'm going to answer 2 of them. Otherwise, I'm just going to answer 1 of them. I guess I'm going to try Mirror Deathmatch again. I feel like I have bad luck with what characters Mirror Deathmatch gives me. I need to... I still need to fix my reticles, but I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to do that live, for one thing. I might record it, just... I don't know why I would do that, but I could do that. And when I can do something, sometimes I do it, so, you know. Is there a hard hat here? I don't know whose hard hat that is. Hopefully they don't need it. Ow. So, what else was I gonna talk about besides the D&D questions today? I don't know. Yesterday I published another chapter of Isakara, because I'm still writing that, that's for sure. We're still in Arc 2. Act 2, rather. Act 2 is probably going to be the longest act of that. Isakara is my web serial, if I haven't said that enough times. For it to just be common knowledge to my viewers. That was a little unnecessary. I would call that a little uncalled for, Tracer. So yeah, Isakara, story of Irella, the best friend of an isekai protagonist before he goes to the other world through a magical portal made of playing cards, and doesn't tell anyone. But he sends her letters through an interdimensional mailbox that only Irella can see. And that's sort of the core mechanic of the story, but it's not really about Isaac. It's about all the characters who are left over. Hi. I should have reloaded as soon as I saw the recall animation.
The wonders of modern medicine.
So yeah, the state of play currently is that, so it's a 5-act structure that I'm using, right? And that means that the first 2 acts are setup and development, respectively. And development is a very long phase of the story. Act 1 is over. Act 1 was like, what was it, 8 chapters? I think it was 8 chapters, and then I did an intermission. Oh, hey. Are you behind? Where is she? Hang on, what spot is that? Oh, I'm just blind. She was on a balcony.
I must go
I thought she managed to break the map geometry somehow. I'm just not good at tracing lines, I guess.
Auf einer Skala von 1 bis 10, wie fest tut es weh?
Act 3 in the 5-act structure is the turning point of the story. And believe it or not, we're not there. Okay, well. I'm confused about what angle that Sombra was running at. She probably shouldn't have gotten away with that. I don't know how many chapters are left in Act 2, is the point that I'm trying to get at, but, I would say it's close to wrapped up.
There's no prescription.
It's, more than halfway done. The story's not more than halfway done. Unless it is. I don't know how long the second, like, phase of the story is after the turning point. I would specify what turning point I'm talking about, but obviously that's a spoiler because it hasn't happened yet, so I'm not gonna do that. Stop shooting me. Everyone's so mean. What's taking so long to find the game?
Heroes never die.
Okay, well that's just kind of...
Auf einer Skala von 1 bis 10. Not good.
I want to change heroes. What do we do in here? Let's go for May. Let's just be rude to people on purpose.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Wait, that didn't lower my score. Okay.
Apagando las luces.
McRee. No, that's not his name anymore. Cassidy? I've lost track of what I was talking about. I wasn't going to talk about Isakara on stream. I had topics planned. I forgot what they are. Okay. What's taking so long to find an actual lobby? Why have I been in this waiting room for 6 minutes and 40 seconds? Is something going on with the actual, like, servers? It wouldn't make sense for that to be the case because it's connecting me to other players, just not enough of them. Wait, this is enough! Why isn't there an actual lobby? We have 8 people here. To be fair, they might not all be queued for Mirror Deathmatch, but...
Get past this.
Still seems a little odd. A little bit concerned about how long I've been stuck here in the queue. I'm also concerned that I'm in 3rd place out of 7 with 1 kill, when 1st place has 13 kills. That wasn't a very balanced waiting room. Okay, Widowmaker. Don't know where she went. Now I do. No one ever expects the ceiling mine.
Locked and loaded.
How does she have a lethal headshot charged before me? After making the first shot. That doesn't quite make sense. Okay. Okay, sure. Let's just do that. See what happens. That somehow counted as my kill. I'll take it. Okay. We're a different hero now. Okay. Going from one sniper to another. A much worse sniper. I never hit point blank sleep darts. I should just, you know, shoot people to death instead of trying to do the instant lethal combo. I mean, that helps. How is she healed from that? The duration of the anti-heal should not have worn off by then. Unless they changed it. Or I miscounted, I guess. Okay. That wasn't a very productive... I didn't know there was a health pack there until a second after it was on my screen. That didn't work. I thought I saw an enemy outline there, but I think it was actually a hot air balloon, so whoops. Okay, that was very cheap, but I'll take it. I didn't deal enough damage for... Oh! For that tick damage to actually, count. That hit the corner of the wall by accident. It still hit someone. I am shocked by that. Okay. These are very chaotic characters for the entire lobby to be playing at once. Yeah, I'm not very good at actually aiming with hit scan stuff. I can put projectiles in the general area of the right place. I'm also good with the coach gun on Ash, because it does set up a perfect shot if you pay attention with it. Oh. Well, that was was I looking at the wrong healing aura?
Not dead yet.
Okay. Number go up. That's the important thing. Did that actually count for me? No, it didn't. It wouldn't have. Okay. Let's see. 8 with 6 being the next highest. Could be in a safer position, but I'm not losing currently, which is the important thing. That'll help. come back? He did not. Okay. And one person left. I keep interrupting myself reloading. Okay.
Tactical necessity.
This is not very good commentary, is it? Are we gonna switch heroes, or is the game gonna end? Okay. Got it. Man. Sure. Made him miss that. Also lost track of him, though. Okay. I did not have enough health to be fighting actively. But I did distract that guy for long enough that he only got 1 kill in a ridiculous amount of time. So, maybe that's good. Maybe that's not good. I don't play the heroes that... I don't know what the actual rotation in this mode is. I can't kill anyone on Cowboy. I don't have the pinpoint accuracy for this. Because that's what you need, is you need to be consistently hitting the final blow on people rather than just dealing damage. I function in a team context as a reasonably effective damage dealer, but I cannot finish people off. Whatever, top half of the lobby, that's a win. That gets me the loot box for this mode, and I never have to play it again for real this time. I have no idea who to endorse. I got sportsmanship for no reason, I guess. Oh. I was in the play of the game, so there's that. That was actually 3 kills at once. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know what I don't think I could repeat a single thing that I've said over the past... How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for 18 minutes. I don't think I could repeat a single phrase that I've used during the duration of this stream. So I'm gonna focus a little bit. I forgot I had the profanity filter on in this game, honestly. It's probably good if I'm gonna be live, but you know, whatever. So, I'm gonna queue for Mystery Heroes while I answer these D&D questions. So, the D&D questions document that I have open, I didn't actually do the math. I think we have more questions here than the actual number of points I need to complete the Reaper challenge. Ah. The two things that just surprised me there are the fact that there was a Bastion there, and the fact that that angle actually let him deal damage, because I'm pretty sure the terrain should have been functional cover there. Right. So, the first question on the D&D document is, if you were a D&D character, what race and class would you be? Now this question is one that I can answer by referencing the fact that I've actually taken a personality quiz that answers this question for you, and that came up as half-elf cleric. So I suppose I'll trust the experts. I have no idea who made the quiz, but you know, they must know what they were talking about, because they made it look nice. They presented the information in a format that that looks cool on the internet. I should actually be a little more cautious, because this is Mystery Heroes and I want to stay on Mercy. I was in like a very bad position at the beginning of the round. Oh boy. Where did you go? The second question, before I forget that I need to answer that one. Okay. Okay. Don't snipe me. They actually tried. Okay. Oh boy.
My thanks. Damage boost engaged.
Ah. The second question is when and how did you first discover D&D? Which would be the Unexpectables podcast. I mean, like, I knew what it was from not being illiterate. I knew what a Dungeons and Dragons was, but the first time I had any actual, like, point of reference for it was through the Unexpectables live play game, which is very fun, and I think wrapping up soon. I really need to catch up and decide who should be hit by a Reinhardt. You. When I first started playing was in high school. I think it would have been my sophomore year. It's been a while at this point. I don't know if that Widowmaker was actually playing well enough to justify tackling her off a cliff, but okay. It worked, and I'm still Reinhardt, which means I can do this now. This kind of defeats the point of Mystery Heroes, but I was about to actually answer another question. I don't have to do that. The game's not over. So yeah, that's 2 down, 18 to go. I could have sworn there was something not related to D&D that I wanted to talk about, but I can't quite recall what it was. I don't have chat open, by the way. I'm not a streamer. I don't know how to live stream. This is basically just me recording a video and then refusing to edit it. And also, I didn't want to fill my hard drive because that was not a good time to bubble me, Zarya. Not that it's necessarily your fault, but I did not deserve a double kill for that. But sure. Did I get the Torbjorn? Seems like it. Uh-oh. What did I just say? What words just happened in my mouth? That's something I really should know. Okay, well. I did not time that bubble in a way that helped me. I got something very strange recently. I haven't tried it yet, but Pop-Tarts. You know Pop-Tarts, right? The Pop-Tarts company recently developed in their Pop-Tarts laboratory a new type of Pop-Tart. The Pop-Tart is a crossover Pop-Tart. It is a crossover with a different flavor of breakfast. And that flavor is Eggo waffle. I'm very concerned that there are Eggo flavored Pop-Tarts, but I can't wait to eat all of them. I just charge through the black hole and die. That's 2 environmental kills is the stupidest card to get in Mystery Heroes. It's like, yeah, I charged 2 people off a cliff as Reinhardt in the game mode where you're supposed to switch heroes after dying. That was another victory. I guess I have to actually answer 2 D&D questions now, which kind of... I mean, I guess I was done talking about Eggo Pop-Tarts. I just wanted to let everyone know that they exist. I really should have had some before telling people that I had... I should have eaten some before I told people that I had them, because then I could actually elaborate and clarify whether I appreciated the combination or not. So the third D&D question, the third D&D question is, what is your favorite race / class / subclass to play? Which is 3 questions. Kind of cheating. Good luck hitting me. Uh-oh. I don't know how I lost track of that There's only 2 other people in here. One of them hasn't picked a character. Okay. This is literally... This lobby is just an Anna bullying me. Level 85? There's no way. There's no way that's only a level 85. Okay, that was a 100% shot accuracy. I'm not great with evasive maneuvers, but you're playing a sniper from across the map, and you hit me through a window without even trying. Okay. I guess, see, I don't have to aim. I can just keep throwing bullets. Okay, what? How can you have that good tracking through through walls? Okay, she's wall hacking. There's no way, right? There's no way. Like, I was going toward that health pack, and I changed my mind, and a grenade landed on it as I would have gotten there. You can't see me through that part of the environment. And so I think that's a little suspicious. I walk out. Instant. I'm in the doorway. Domed in the head. There's no way that person was playing the game for real. Right, I was answering D&D questions about my favorite mechanical categories. My favorite race to play, let's think about that. It depends on what I'm trying to accomplish, but I think my favorite racial trait in the game is feline agility, because it just lets you be really dumb with your positioning. Because you just decide, hey, you know what? My movement speed is actually twice as much this turn, for no reason, with no consequences, with no setbacks, no drawbacks, and the only thing I have to do to recharge this is not move on a turn. So I like Tabaxi, and also they're funny because, like, if you roleplay them according to the lore that's in the book, you're always just chaotic neutral. How did you two survive? Someone should probably take care of that Bastion. Like, that's a bit of an issue so far. I'm just saying. Okay. That works. They have another one? Oh, mercy. I'm really not sure how I missed that. I don't know if I have a favorite class to play. I kind of default to Rogue because it's an easy like role to understand. I just kind of have to hop around, do some sneaky stuff, and when a fight breaks out, figure out what like just throw things at whoever's attacking the tank. Whoever's fighting the tank, just shoot them with like a bow or something. So yeah, I play rogues often. I play druids a fair amount because I like spellcasting. I do play, if I'm not playing a rogue, I'm probably playing a spellcaster. Just because those are like the two classes that I find mechanically engaging. Either rogues or the entire category of spellcaster. We're not winning this game, by the way. So I guess if we narrow it down, logically, my favorite subclass would be the Arcane Trickster in theory, because it's the spellcasting rogue. But that's actually not true. There are definitely rogues that I prefer to Arcane Trickster. Can't remember what they're. I like Scout. Yeah. Here's the thing about when it comes to D&D characters, the race, class, and subclass are all mostly something that I just use to support the character concept. Like, there are ways in which the mechanics are interesting in and of themselves, but it's not like a video game where the actual process of using the character is what drives my decision in terms of the mechanics of the character. I choose the mechanics that would reflect the decisions of the character that I want to make. Except race, that's not really a decision that your character makes, is it? It would be very strange if that was the case. I haven't exactly answered this question, but I feel like I've spent more than enough time on it, considering it's the question that I'm answering because I played the previous game and we're about to finish this one. So the fourth question is, if you could improve any... I'm going to insert the word D&D where it's not actually in the question. But if you could improve any D&D stat in real life, or two stats half as much, so effectively the ability score increase level up feature, right? Which would you choose and why? Let's see. Is that the person that was playing Bastion? I have no idea. We absolutely rolled the Bastion when we had a double Roadhog. And then the absolute cheap skatery of the Mercy Res lost us that game entirely. Which I feel like deserves a Mercy upvote on that card, even though it's not, like, relevant to what happened. But that was a bad game. One elimination is silver. That's pretty cool. Also, that was the elimination that got rezzed, so... if I could improve one of the 6 D&D stats in real life, I don't know, because the D&D stats are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. But it's kind of hard to prioritize those things outside of a character build. Because I don't have a character build in real life. I just kind of stand here and do things. I'm not standing right now, I'm sitting. I'm always like 90% sure that everyone in the deathmatch lobby is going to shoot me on sight, but then sometimes they don't, and then I feel bad for preemptively attacking them.
Greetings.
So D&D stats. Which one would I benefit most from a +1 bonus to? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to this question. Maybe charisma. Because, like, I'm trying... That's sort of the... Because that's what the performance skill is tied into, right? So, anything that's artistic is probably... Like, if you were... Here's a question, right? If you were running D&D and a player wanted to create art, would that be a performance check? Is painting a performance check in D&D, or is it something else? Sleight of hand? I don't think it's sleight of hand. Unless you're trying to hide a secret message in the painting, which you definitely can do. What if I put that there instead? It's dead. Okay. Widow? I don't know why the Reaper just walked past her. Intelligence is the stat that's, like, the least real in D&D. Because what does it actually mean? It means how many things you know. And that isn't measurable on a scale from 1 to 20. That doesn't make sense. It's a game mechanic. Like, knowing more things is good, but the way that question works on a mechanical level is or the way that accomplishing that works in D&D doesn't map well onto the real world necessarily, you know? They've got 2 angles of attack. Oh, never mind. That team died. If they do set up 2 angles of attack on us, it's gonna be that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm really not good with how flanked we're being right now. I'm glad his heal was on cooldown. Is that a Pharah? We have a Pharah. Do they have a Pharah? They do. Okay, come on. She's hiding. Uh-oh. Sure. The 5th question, which I should be answering because I played another game since starting those other 2, is, in 3 sentences or less, what's your most epic moment from a game? Let's see. That's not very many sentences. You did not trigger overtime. That's unfortunate. Hello? Oh. 3 sentences or less, what's your most epic moment from a game? I don't know if this means as a player or a DM, because the answers are different, because... well, I've been in many a game. I don't even know how to answer this question without the caveat of having to limit myself to a very brief description, actually. Because it's hard to compare different campaigns. And also, you know, whatever I say is going to sound a lot less impressive without the context of the actual campaign. I did switch those controls, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. I've got them in the right order. Cool. I don't know why I keep trying to reload. I'm Moira. Good job. I know he didn't die from doing that, but it's just kind of funny when you're fighting someone and they jump off a cliff, borderline on purpose. In 3 sentences or less. Epic moments from games. In terms of things I actually, like, had happen while I was playing, like, as a player character. Uh-oh. I feel like that's the more intended interpretation of the question, where, hey, as a player character, what's the most epic thing you've accomplished? I didn't time that very well. So I was playing a character in a game. I just realized I was gonna give context, and then I noticed, hang on, that would count toward the sentence limit, wouldn't it? I shouldn't do that. Okay, so, let's see. I was playing a mad scientist barbarian in a dungeon crawl, and working on a project in secret from the rest of the party. That's the first sentence. After finally rolling enough checks to complete the actual tinkering process and activate what I was building, I was able to reveal the device to the rest of the party. That's the second sentence, and that's what the actual, like, answer is that I revealed this thing that I've been working on to the entire party, right? And sentence 3 is going to be me telling you what actually it was that I, we got absolutely destroyed this round. So, third sentence, I'm glad I don't have to play the hamster. I hope I don't, you know, say that and then have something worse happen. Okay. I'm just gonna finish answering the question. So, what I'd built was a cross between Frankenstein's monster and a Warforged. That's the thing that I'm answering this question with. So it's actually something that's gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna incorporate this into the world building series that I'm gonna be, okay. That I'm gonna be making. It's, so the Warforged race is interesting in terms of you get to play as this creature that was effectively built as a soldier, right? You know? And then you have to decide, hey, what is my character even doing now that the war's done? Which is, well, it's a very specific, like, thing to Eberron. People let you play Warforged in other settings sometimes, but they really are designed for Eberron, and the things that make them cool are very specific to Eberron. Because just being a robot isn't inherently cool. Torbjorn, stand still, or at the very least, don't stand behind a wall. I'm trying to heal you. Here, have that. I don't know why I shot the black hole that heals the guy that I was shooting at. I don't know why I did that. I don't know what the point of that was. How exactly do you have an ultimate in Mystery Heroes? Especially on Hanzo, that's crazy. We are very dead. What was I talking about? Warforged. I should wait for everyone to respawn. What healer did I play that I got gold healing on? Well, I guess I was playing Baptiste just now, but... What is our team count? Not great. Could be worse, though. Okay. I'm not really good at playing Torbjorn. Bad guy? Bad guy. Okay. Good hack, I guess. They have a Symmetra. I would like that not to be the case. What if I sit here and keep healing the... Okay. Symmetra... I did not kill her. Warforged. Warforged are interesting because of the psychology of literally being designed for a war that is no longer happening. And your character gets to explore that space. Just the fact that you are a robot is not what's interesting. So what I wanted to do, right, is I wanted to create a different race for D&D that was also like a constructed creature. That wasn't the right cooldown, but I wanted to use my take a breather as an engage, like I wanted to use it for the damage reduction as I walked onto the point. I suppose I should have checked whether the Symmetra was still alive before wandering into the control point. Because, you know, those turrets are bad for me. When did that get there? What I wanted to do is create a constructed creature, humanoid creature type that you could play as that wasn't specifically Warforged from specifically Eberron, but was still interesting in the same way, not for the same reasons, but in the same, like, category of being interesting, which is, for the sort of secondary characteristics, not the fact that it's a robot, but the fact that it's this robot type, right? And so what I ended up doing is that it's effectively it's not actually a robot. The external layer of the creature is like a leather skin and either clockwork or armor, just for like aesthetics and for joints and for covering stuff up. The actual brain of these robot creatures, of these synthetic humanoid creatures, is like a crystal orb that's just programmed through arcane, like, effectively just encoding processes into this crystal orb that just sits in the helmet of this synthetic humanoid creature. Made from, like, like muscle. Like in the game where I was playing the mad scientist, right? I had hunted wildlife to harvest resources because, you know, that's a little bit less that's a little bit less outright evil than what the actual Frankenstein did, which is grave robbing. So yeah, while these are not vegan robots, but they are, you know, they're at least animal products instead of necromancy. Well, that plan backfired, didn't it? I know I have to answer another question. Who's behind us? There's a sniper there. There's gonna stay a sniper there, I guess. Ooh, we have 2 Orisas. So these are like, these are not robots in the traditional sense. It's more of a... Oh, we now have 3 Orisas. It's more of like a slightly... ever so slightly more ethical flesh golem, to use the D&D, like... the D&D creature that was, like, if you open the monster manual and you want to figure out, hey, what's the closest analogy that I can draw? The stat block you would look up is called Flesh Golem. That's not necessarily a good name for the creature, but, you know. Wait. Who's the person that's saying that? Soldier.
Anyone need some healing?
Okay, that's a really annoying place for the turret. What? Look at how high level the people in this lobby are. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be against this Widowmaker. Now, Junkrat. I don't know what level that is. I can't even do the math for that because I haven't seen that border. Well, that was not very effective. Okay, question 5, or no, I answered question 5. Question 6 is literally just, have any of your characters died in a game? The answer is no. I've now answered that question. I don't have to come back to it later. To continue, the reason that, so I should say what the creature is called. The name of this robot, like, race is Poihalt. Poihalt. It is an acronym that was created by the mad scientist character that designed them. It stands for pseudo-organic, intelligent, humanoid adventurer locum tenens, which is a very over-dramatically worded version of saying it's a replacement for adventurers, right? Locum tenens means stand-in. The pseudo-organic part is the fact that it's a creature that's made of organic components, but it's not like, it's not natural, obviously. The intelligence is artificial intelligence, and the humanoid just refers to the shape, right? So that's what those are. And the shtick of the race is that they are marketed and sold. They can be programmed and sent on quests to just bring the treasure back for whoever owns the Poi Halt. They can also be remote controlled, and there are additional, like, optional enchantments that let you project an illusion of yourself on the actual... I had no excuse for losing that fight other than I'm not paying attention. Because I don't think we're a better team than the other team, so I don't think we're going to win. So I don't really care about contributing. Even though the guy with the weird font name is yelling at us in team chat. I'm not throwing for content because the content is not focused on the game. Well, I guess so I am technically throwing for content because I'm ignoring what I'm doing in the actual video game because what I'm actually focused on is talking to you. I've been wondering where the enemy team was. I'm still wondering, actually. They have a sentry mode bastion basically in their spawn. That's probably helpful to them. I don't think I had a way to help that person in that scenario. Oh boy. So these fake humanoid creatures, right? They're disposable because it's not a real being. Like it's just a biomachine designed by a mad scientist and then mass-produced and then sold to people who want the thrill of adventure without actually risking their lives. They can just set up this machine properly and then send it in and then get all the same treasure rewards, get all the same experiences other than physically being there. Because with the enchantments that let you remote control it, you get live input from the actual senses of the creature that you're controlling, the not really even creature, the construct that you're controlling. You basically it's a safe way to go on adventures, and you know, it's like the perils of automation, but in a fantasy world. They're stealing our jobs, so to speak. The robots, obviously. So the thing is, though, right? The problem is what this guy has made is a biological human-shaped thing that isn't alive or sentient. And if you're a ghost and you're just wandering around and you find something with that description, it's so much easier to haunt than, like, a teapot or something, because it's the same like limb arrangement that you're used to. And it doesn't have its own soul to avoid getting possessed with. So, it's a... That didn't work. So the way that the way that you play as one of these things is either A, you could play as one of the remote controlled ones, and your character is just some noble sitting in a castle, remote controlling this robot to go on adventures with possibly the people that they hired to do the adventure. Just literally for fun. The other option is that, hey, these are the perfect thing for a ghost to possess. Almost, like, intentionally so. It's not that they're designed for ghosts, but the design decisions that went into making this thing are exactly the sort of properties that make them ghost-friendly. So anything that could possess a person can possess one of these robot things with much less of a fight. And so it also, besides letting you play as a weird Frankenstein robot, it lets you play as things that you normally wouldn't have the option to play as, like a ghost, or... How do you have your ultimate? No one ever kills Torbjorns in Mystery Heroes. Like, people don't do that, even when they're on snipers. When I'm a sniper, if the enemy team has a Torbjorn, it's my first priority to the point of, like, detrimental hyperfocus. That's not the right way to use the word hyperfocus. I'm confident of that, but you know what I mean, like, tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is the term that I was looking for. I get so focused on trying to take out the builder, who is still alive, by the way. We wiped the team, and Torbjorn's just somewhere. I don't actually, like, have enough self-preservation to play a squishy sniper, and that's why I tend not to successfully take down Torbjorns in Mystery Heroes. But if there's a Torbjorn or Symmetra, killing them is way more beneficial than actually killing the turrets. I don't know why you put your barrier up. That doesn't help against... I don't know why I put my barrier up, other than... What stunned me? Who's here? They have a Doom Fist? No? Let's see here. We actually could win this game. We just have to keep control of the point, which depends on them not having the teamwork to force us out. So, the thing that you can do with these Poihalt creatures is, I already described it. It wasn't very well, but if I do end up including them in my world building series, then there will be a more complete explanation of what their deal is when I've actually scripted that explanation and it's designed to be in a video instead of something that I'm offhandedly mentioning on stream. And by the same token, right, if I don't end up using these for a video, it's probably just because I ended up deciding they weren't interesting enough to be their own video, or just that I'd already covered them, you know, which I have now, kind of. We won. I really didn't think we were gonna win, and I definitely don't deserve shot caller because, yeah, I wasn't communicating, and I was actively ignoring instructions and making fun of the person who gave us advice. Not like in chat. Why is everyone calling me shot caller? I didn't say anything. You're the shot caller here, if anyone. So, good teammate because was Mercy. That's what we're going with. Career best objective kills. Hey, we got the thing. What's this? It's a spray, right? Check out this new spray. Reaper spray. Where is it? What is it? Hello? Oh, it'd be, there we go. Sure, I'll equip that. 2 more questions from the D&D thing. This stream sucks, probably. I'm doing a bad job at streaming. Oh yeah, speaking of doing a bad job at streaming, last week, right, I said that I was going to replace that snowflake border around the game because it's not winter anymore, it's March. I haven't done that. There's still snowflakes. I don't know why it's snowing. Because the only other content I have from this game besides these streams is the winter challenge that I was recording, which I did do all 3 weeks of the winter challenge. I just haven't edited the second 2 because I didn't feel like it. Playing Overwatch, right, alone is kind of grueling. It's not automatically fun. I like the game in theory, but the actual process of playing the game within the context of, hey, my teammates are random people that I don't know that I'm not talking to, and also I'm probably in a lobby that's too high level for me because, whoops, I don't know how that happened. That isn't ideal. Playing this game with literally just one other person makes it infinitely more enjoyable. The other thing that makes it more enjoyable is having something else to focus on for any amount of time. And so, when I'm recording the game, right, I know that I can edit anything I don't find interesting out of the actual recording, and so I don't have a reason necessarily to constantly be filling space. When I'm on a stream, like I'm not gonna edit any of this out because that's not how streaming works. So every second that I spend not talking about something is dead air. That's a period of time, however long it is, where the quality of the stream is not being improved by me being on the stream. And I'm the only one on the stream, so that's a bad sign for the quality of the stream, right? So the fact that I'm streaming instead of recording makes it actually more fun to play the game. Playing the game off stream, if I don't have something to bounce off of, I just end up slowly going insane. That's why I wanted to try streaming the game, because I had sort of a hypothesis that might be the case. I was right. I recorded however many hours of Overwatch footage, and I was thinking, man, I don't like playing this game for the sake of making videos out of it. Because it's just frustrating most of the time. What? Okay. But yeah, now that I have to be talking about something for the entire time, it's not necessarily the game that's more fun, but the fact that I'm spending time doing something that is engaging at a consistent level is like, oh, I don't know why I thought that was an ally. I was gonna heal that Roadhog. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm supposed to answer 2 more of these questions. Wow, you are dying a horrible death. Question 7. If you could learn any one cantrip in real life, goodbye, which would you choose and why? Alrighty, so cantrips. That's the level 0 spells that you can spam, which means whatever I'm choosing, that's just an ability that I've decided that I have now. At any point, I can do this without expending basically any, like, effort. Like, as long as the game mechanics map onto how the cantrip actually functions as you're using it in real life. If it works the same way as it would playing the game, you could, in theory, constantly cast the spell and not really suffer from doing so in any meaningful way. I'm up here now, I guess. I don't know where she went. I don't think it matters necessarily. I don't know if that's the good sniper or another sniper. I also don't know if they're actually a good sniper or if I'm just a bad dodger, which, you know, I am. Oh, boy. Okay. I shouldn't be doing this well on Lucio. I don't know how to play Lucio. What's happening? Do I just dive the sniper? I'm so concerned about her. Oh boy. That was a bad use of my time and my ultimate. That was just a bad call. That was just a series of bad decisions. I'm supposed to answer that cantrip question. So there's a lot of very neat cantrips. The fun answer is probably thaumaturgy or prestidigitation, depending on what class, you know, I have access to. That Widowmaker's going to kill me. I should break that trap. I should fall back because I don't have allies and the entire enemy team is focused on the payload. Thaumaturgy and Prestidigitation are the two spells in the game, the two cantrips in the game that have just a bunch of individual different roleplay effects. So they're versatile and it's magic, which, you know, you normally don't have that. Uh-oh. Prestidigitation can make illusory objects. It can make temporary, real physical objects. They just disappear after the spell ends, which is like 6 seconds after you cast it. It can start fires, which is not a power that I should probably have on demand now that I'm thinking about it. It can create sounds and basically anything to do with your senses. Prestidigitation can just fake that with magic. It's the Stage Magician spell. is what it is. And it doesn't even use a spell slot. You don't have to have a reserve of magical energy. Oh, that's too bad. You don't have to have a built-up reserve of magical energy to actually cast Prestidigitation. You just cast it. So that's fun. Thaumaturgy, same deal. There's a bunch of different options. It's just the options aren't the same ones as Prestidigitation, so I'm not particularly interested in watching that. So those are the fun answers, Prestidigitation and Thaumaturgy, because they're versatile for cantrips. They let you do a bunch of random, semi-useful stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean they are the best, like, cantrip to learn. You probably wouldn't want to learn an attack cantrip if you had one cantrip. You'd probably pick something like Mending, honestly. Mending, you take 1 minute, right? 1 minute, and you can fix anything. You know, not necessarily like, oh, my house collapsed in an earthquake, I'll just cast Mending and my house is back. It's not how the spell works, but if you drop a glass, you just draw a circle around the glass shards, say abracadabra for 60 seconds, and then it's a glass again. You can put milk in it, you know? Mending is a very strong choice. I forget. I don't have every cantrip memorized, and I'm not in a position to pull the rulebooks out, am I? Good shield, Orisa. Good one. We have 2 Hanzos. It's a little interesting. Where could you use some help, Lucio? I have to answer 2 more questions because I've spent so long just describing cantrips as if that's what the point of this was. Oh, wow. He is so close to dead. But he's also gone now. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, Prestidigitation, Mending, Thaumaturgy, maybe. Minor Illusion could be funny, but I think Minor Illusion is Minor Illusion's just a better, less versatile Prestidigitation. So probably not Minor Illusion if I have to pick one. It really depends. Do I want magic for fun, or do I want magic that's actually useful? And if I want magic that's actually useful, I would pick Mending. And if I want magic for fun, I would pick one of the 2 that I spent entirely too long talking about. As for the other 2 questions that I need to answer before this game ends, number 8 is... Are there any particular stats you'd usually take a high or low score in, and why? Why is Winston in our backline? What are you doing here, dude? We're being spawn camped by monkey. I shouldn't just stand in the shooting range. No. I would say the answer is no. I guess I usually take high dexterity because it's kind of the best stat in 5th edition. So, you know, I like it when my character is good at the thing that my character does, and I often make dexterity-based characters, or at the very least characters that aren't wearing heavy armor, which means that they're secondarily dexterity reliant in terms of not getting constantly hit by stuff. Huh. We have shields available. I should just kill everyone, probably. They have a Risa, which could be a very large issue for High Noon. There's no particular stats that I usually... Because, again, I build my characters on a case-by-case basis. I don't have many strong trends between them because I don't like playing the same thing. I like playing a new thing when I make a new character. Oh, hi. Sure. So... Last question that I owe for the challenge points until this game is over. 9th question. Do you have a favorite dice set or a particular favorite die? Post a photo. It occurs to me that I should have read these questions before I started the stream in which I had to answer the questions. Because I could have taken a picture. I could have uploaded that picture to my computer before the stream. And I could have actually showed you the dice that I'm talking about instead of not doing that. I could have handled this better. Wow. I did not deserve that damage. He put his shield down for no reason. How am I getting eliminations? I'm trying to use Guardian Angel. I'm Echo. That's not what I have. Triple kill? What? Excuse me? What do you mean triple kill? Okay, we won. That means 2 more questions. Number 10. Oh, I have some really nice dice. That's what I have. What I'll do, right, is I'll go on Twitter. I won't go on Twitter. Why would I go on Twitter? What I'll do is I'll make a video at some point about my dice because I literally have enough that that's a feasible thing for me to do. So eventually I'm going to make a dice collection video. So the answer to question 9 is look forward to that, I guess. Hey, I'm consistently contributing to the team. I'm not like the best player on the team, obviously, because I'm not good at the game, but you know, I wasn't in last place in every category, which, you know, you can't actually prove that you were in last place because there's no there's 6 players on a team and only 3 medals, so you know, it's either first, second, third, or bottom half. Although Overwatch 2 is gonna move to 5-player teams, right? So you're gonna have a better idea of whether you were the worst player on your team once there's one less person not getting a medal.
Hey. Hello. Hello.
What is the Reaper doing? Because we're just hanging out.
Here it comes.
Where did that dynamite go? Ah. Okay. Question 10. How would you explain D&D to someone who knows nothing about it? You know, this is probably not a great place in the question set for this question. I would have put it at, you know, maybe 1. 1 would be a good place for this, considering I've been talking about D&D for the entire stream. So if you don't know anything about it, then you've probably stopped watching by now. I know the last map wasn't Control Point. Last map was Temple of Anubis. I feel like there's a lot of Control Point in Mystery Heroes. So I could be like a really bad person. That didn't work. But I'm still Reinhardt. So D&D. This is not a very, like, interesting question to answer, is it? How would you explain D&D to someone who knows nothing about it? Okay, are you familiar with the concept of a game? Because it's that. It's one of those things. You know, it's a recreational activity in which a number of people take a chunk of time that they decide in advance on how much it's going to be, you know? I shouldn't let myself actually die. Oh boy. Now I'm not Reinhardt. Now I can't do the thing that I was trying to do. I'm not gonna explain D&D to you. I'm not... The answer to explain D&D to someone who knows nothing about D&D is, hey, go look up what D&D is. We have almost all human knowledge available through a keyboard and magical air, like, vibrations. You don't need me to explain what D&D is. Someone else has done a way better job already. So I would rather answer a more, like, interesting question with the time that I'm spending on this live stream. And hopefully question 11 is more interesting. Do you watch, read, or listen to any D&D content online? Anything you want to recommend to others? So, as I somewhat mentioned earlier, I'm not caught up with The Unexpectables, but I've watched... it's fair to say the majority, because mathematically that's accurate. The Unexpectables is a fun campaign to watch. It's kind of the only show that... It's kind of the only D&D show that I've actually gotten into, frankly. I watched the entirety of Dark and Dicey, which was one of the official D&D... I think it was official anyway. I didn't look for it. I'm pretty sure it just came from the official D&D channel. They were like, hey, we're doing this show. It's a villain campaign, and it's gonna be cool. And then it kind of... in the most on-brand turn of events possible for D&D, the game kind of got scuttled by scheduling issues. So there's only 12 episodes of that. And then they're like, we'll see you in Season 2, and then they didn't. So I've seen that. I can't necessarily recommend it, although it is the source of my favorite Discord emote. Which, you would have seen that. If you've seen my icebreaker questions cookie conversation video, you know which specific image I'm referring to. Otherwise, yeah, it's a Discord emote. I don't know how to explain. I'm not good at talking, for the record. I've never claimed that I'm... I don't know what my plan was in that situation. So, literal games of D&D are not the only D&D content, obviously. D&D content that I watch online, is it more than one channel? I'm subscribed to XP to level 3. That's just kind of... I mean, I do watch the new uploads. I don't really go back through his old stuff much, because, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how to explain XP to level 3. I don't know how to explain the content on that channel. It's... I mean, it's basically just... Guys? You're all alive. Where'd you go? What? Did they all respawn? I wasn't exactly paying attention, but I could have sworn I saw one of my teammates walking away from the point. You know, I don't really watch any serious D&D, like, tutorial videos or, like, build videos, like, ooh, we're gonna make this fictional character in D&D. What I watch is funny videos that happen to be about Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm subscribed to Runesmith and... Okay. XP to level 3. I have seen a bunch of those lore videos that people make, but, like... That's not... I mean, that's just, that's not stuff that I follow people for. That's just like, oh, I need information about this specific creature because I'm using it soon, or because I thought it was neat in the monster manual, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch a video about this, you know? Let's see. Yeah, so my entire team's gone. Fair. Yeah, to finish off question 11, anything you want to recommend to others? In terms of just, like, really... If I had to recommend a game for you to watch, a campaign for you to watch, it would be The Unexpectables, by a long shot. If you just want short, funny D&D related content, and often non-D&D related content also, because there's only so much D&D related topics that you can cover before you run out. Runesmith is highly effective at being funny, I think. Goodbye. And since I played another game while answering those questions, we can go for number 12. If you could take one feat IRL, which would you choose and why? So this is effectively just, hey, D&D has this system for making your character better at stuff. What skill would you want to learn without actually taking any of the steps needed to develop that skill? I don't have every feat memorized, honestly. Like, feats are one of the things in the... Oh, I actually get to pick my character again. Feats are one of the things in the game that I pay the least attention to, because it's like, it's an optional rule, technically, and... I don't know, I'm not big on feats as, like, a thing. Which is weird, because I'm gonna be using them extensively in my spin-off system of D&D that I'm gonna make. I think it's more that the feats that are in 5th edition aren't all that interesting. As opposed to, well, this isn't a mechanically usable system. It is. It's effective for... I don't know where I'm going with this. If you could take any feat in real life, just, hey, one day I decide that I'm going to gain these capabilities out of nowhere, what would I want to be able to do? So, some feats that are, like, really not that strong in D&D would be blatantly overpowered in real life. They, like, you look through it in the context of, hey, this is for D&D, which is a kind of... I mean, it's not only a combat game, but the mechanics are mostly based around combat, so I would say it's fair to call D&D a combat game. That was not good target prioritization. Why is this Mercy up here? That health pack's not there. Why did you follow me? Why is everyone following me down here? What? I guess they got control of the point, but I wasn't preventing them from doing that. So, right, actor, the actor feat, right? You look at that in the game, and it's like, okay, this isn't very useful. But if you think about what it actually says, that's unbelievable how useful that would actually be. Like, the amount of... Like, that's a really powerful... So the actor feat, right? It allows you to impersonate people. It doesn't actually, like, place any specific limitations on that other than people can roll insight to figure out you're not actually the person you're impersonating. But the actor feat, right? It makes you, in D&D, it makes you a perfect impressionist. And imagine just having that skill. Not even for, like, what it's useful for, just for the entertainment value of, hey, anything I say can be enhanced by the fact that I get to completely control what my voice sounds like. It would also be great for dungeon mastering, because all of your NPCs could sound like entirely different voice actors at all times. I know you're going to bubble. Why did you jump down a pit? You could have just survived that. Zarya? Are you okay? I should kill the Mercy, but I don't feel like it. Nope. That was by accident. I forgot that the floor had a hole in it. Arigato. See, like, any time that somebody... If you hear a voice line in a game and you have the actor feat, you can just repeat it. So yeah, actor is the one that springs to mind as, hey, that would be really cool if I could just make any voice at any time. And it doesn't really matter that, hey, somebody can roll an insight check to figure out that you're just imitating. Because it's like, sure. It's not... Like, that's a game balance consideration of, hey, I can't trick people with this, but it's not, like, it's not a limit on how impressive the skill is if you actually for real can do that. If you can sound like anyone, that would be really, like, fun to just mess around. Yeah, did was I supposed to answer 2 questions? Is that the first one? I'm gonna move on. So, I don't remember if I was supposed to answer question 13 yet, but I'm going to anyway. It's, if you could choose any one spell to be able to cast once per day in real life, which would you choose and why? Okay. That's a ridiculous number of... Hang on a second. You didn't specify a spell level. D&D question list, you didn't specify a spell level. You didn't specify that it had to be not a 9th level spell. You didn't specify that I couldn't choose Wish. That's all of the spells. If I can cast Wish once per day, I can cast every spell in the game. I choose Wish. Like, I'm not going to use it for the actual Wish part. I'm going to use it to replicate any spell of 8th level or lower. Because that means I have access to every spell in D&D. Why would I not choose Wish? You need to phrase the question in a way that makes Wish not objectively the correct answer. Because again, just don't use it not for duplicating a different spell, especially if it's the only one you can cast. I mean, seriously, being able to literally cast one spell from D&D per day. And you don't need material components, right? If you chose a spell that had material components in the actual game, I don't know how much a gold piece is worth. I'm not gonna choose Revivify. Where am I gonna get that many diamonds, right? What dollar amount do I need to spend to resurrect someone? Not that it wouldn't be worth it, but, like, practically speaking, you know. You're gonna run out of diamonds, if nothing else. But yeah, no, the wish spell, like, unless you really want a different 9th level spell, like Foresight, although having advantage on stuff doesn't really mean anything in real life. That's a weird, like, if spells do exactly what they say they do, like, on paper, what Foresight does is it gives you advantage on everything, which means, unclear what that means, actually. That was really poorly timed. I wanted to hit that button 2 frames later than I actually did. Killed the Mercy, though. Yeah, so if I self-impose the rule that, hey, you know, picking Wish is just cheating, I've actually already answered this question. I answered this question in a Reddit video. I would pick Fabricate. I'd pick Fabricate because... Uh-oh. Because then, any artwork, you don't have to do the actual, like, trying part. You just have to know what you want to do, and theoretically have the ability to do that without the spell, and then it lets you skip the doing it part. And if you're not doing something that requires a high level of craftsmanship, then you don't even need to actually be able to do the thing. You just need to be able to know what you want. Like, if you want a bridge, you don't have to know how to build a bridge for the Fabricate spell to give you a bridge. You just need to have enough stuff to make a bridge. But yeah, like, there's so many random things that I know how to make that the only reason I don't, like, do projects is because it takes a while to do the project. Like, I know how to turn pens on a lathe. You could call me proficient in woodworking tools. I wouldn't have a high proficiency bonus, but I would be proficient. If the toggle is either proficient or not proficient, you know, I would say it's more accurate to call me proficient than not proficient in woodworking tools. Same thing with jewelry. I would say it's more accurate to call me proficient with jeweler's tools than not proficient. I'm not a master at making jewelry, but I can do it. You know, I don't have expertise or whatever, but I can make jewelry. And if it took 10 minutes instead of several days, I would make all kinds of jewelry and probably a lot of money from selling it. But even, like, drawing, right? I can and have drawn and painted things before. It's just not something I have the patience for. And so making that's a really funny play of the game. And so when I actually want something as a drawing or a painting, I don't actually, like, so it's hard for me to end up with a quality product because I'm not going to sit down and actually put that amount of effort in. I would rather do something else, basically. So in theory, if I cast Fabricate on a pencil and a notebook, I could just conjure a drawing from... Imagine being able to project a mental image into a physical medium. That would be so cool.
I'll be watching.
We won that game, so I'm supposed to answer 2 more questions, which will be 14 and 15. That was... instant death. Instant death. Alright. Question 14. In 3 sentences or less, what's your most epic fail from a game? I don't know the answer to that. Wow.
Immer unter Druck liegt jemand bei der Arbeit.
Is this a Roomba? Is this a vacuum? Why has it got 3 little leg things, you know? What are you
Would you
doing?
like to know the specials?
Is this an NFT? So in 3 sentences or less, what's your most epic fail from a game? I guess what I'll do is I'll describe something that happened in a recent session, because I'm not gonna put more thought into this question than that, because I don't have an answer that's worth that level of, like, mental brainstorming effort to actually conjure up. So I'll just say something that happened in the most recent session. So a player of mine was at the was in the marketplace, like a farmer's market type scenario is what I described them being in. There's still really, really, really high level people in the same lobby as me. I'm not good at Overwatch, and I'm playing against and with other players that are. Or at least they've been playing for a long time, which hopefully means they're good at the game. Be kind of... See, here's the thing, right? If you have that profile border, the one that's glowing with 5 stars, and you're level 93, which means you're about to get an even more impressive profile picture frame, right? Like, if I had that many levels on my account, and I was still really bad at the game, I would stop playing. I'd stop playing out of embarrassment. It's like, I've spent so much time on this thing, and I've not developed my skills at all in any of that time. Like, I have to do something else, you know? Uh-oh. What's happening? Where's the Symmetra? Of course, killing her isn't going to accomplish much, because this isn't Mystery Heroes. Found her, though. Mercy! Be cool if we had a healer. So what happened, right, at this marketplace, is that there were bags of jerky, just like drawstring bags is what I was picturing, and they were stacked in a pyramid, right? The player wanted to sleight of hand the jerky away from the marketplace stall, and they actually, before they wanted to roll sleight of hand, they actually waited for another customer to show up, so there would be a natural distraction. Which yeah, you would have to do that, really. I feel like a lot of DMs would let you just roll sleight of hand without there being a distraction. That's not reasonable necessarily. If it's fun for you, then all power to you, but it's pretty unrealistic for someone to just walk up to an NPC that isn't focused on anything else and then steal something from them. It's not a reasonable sequence of events. At the very least, you would need to do some sort of like pickpocketing technique where you're gonna regret coming through that portal, teleporter. I'm supposed to be answering the D&D question. Stop bantering with the enemy. They can't even hear me. There's no reason to do one-liners. Okay. It wasn't really me getting a double kill so much as me being nearby when 2 enemies died. You're gonna feel real silly in a second. Doomfist survived. So they waited for another customer. My player waited for another customer to show up to this jerky stall, jerky tent, where they had the pyramid of drawstring bags of jerky. And they wanted to sleight of hand one of the jerky bags so that it was their jerky bag instead of a jerky bag that was for sale. As you do. You know, without spending money. Hi. Just Winston saying great shot as I left 8 shotgun pellets in the head of a stationary target. I keep getting distracted by the actual game. Okay. They roll sleight of hand as the shopkeeper is talking to this just random elf that I had show up. They get a natural 1. I think, okay, well, that's what, you know, that's a classic D&D maneuver. You try to do something that doesn't even have any consequences for failing. Really? Like, this isn't a dramatic roll. This isn't part of the story. But you roll a natural 1 anyway, and it's like, man. So the total that they got on their roll was 2. And I was thinking, okay, well, you got a natural 1. Your sleight of hand roll wasn't effective. So I already know what's going to happen. I know that they're going to grab one of the jerky bags on the bottom of the pile of jerky bags, and it's going to cause a cascade effect. This is not 3 sentences or less, by the way. Shut up. So they knock over, like, the entire store display, right? With a sleight of hand of 2. The merchant also rolls a natural 1 for perception. They don't notice that happened. I can't believe this game is still happening. They took half the payload distance during overtime. Man. So yeah, I guess if I have to condense that into 3 sentences to count as having answered the question, a player tried to steal some jerky. They rolled a natural 1 for a total of 2 on sleight of hand. The merchant also rolled a natural 1 for perception. Those are the 3 sentences. It's a way less interesting story when I say it that way, but, you know. That's because I go way too far into detail. I have two... There are two ways for me to handle basically anything. Either I go unnecessarily overboard on the minute details of every aspect of what I'm trying to do, right? I think I need to run an RPG campaign. Well, let me build the entire setting over the course of a year before I actually run a session. Oh, what's this? I'm going to be telling a story? Well, here's here's 3 chapters of background information just to make sure that everyone's on the same page for the 3-second punchline that this story is building up to. Okay, we're gonna lose now. Like, whatever we were doing at the beginning of the game that got us into overtime, we've stopped doing that, and the enemy team is actually playing the game. I'm not gonna outdamage a Mercy, not on Diva. Where is everyone? Why are there enemies back here? Question 15. Right? That's what we're on. I need to shoot people. Okay, I don't need to shoot people anymore. Yeah. Question 15. Have you ever played with or created any homebrew content? Yes. The answer is yes. I don't think the answer could be any more yes if we're being completely honest here. I am a thorough... Whoa. I'm a very... Really? I still managed to kill someone in that scenario. I do a lot of custom RPG content when I'm doing anything tabletop related. Like, I've literally made homebrew content for Marvel Heroic Role-Playing, which no one even plays that. It's out of print. That's not a real game that people play. It's a good game. But I've made homebrew content for Marvel Heroic Role-Playing. I don't purely follow the rulebook. Because you might as well play a video game. If the only thing you want to do is engage with the mechanics as they're written, play a video game. The point of tabletop games is the creativity, the capacity for your own touch in every aspect of what you're doing, and I can't believe this Echo is still alive. Where's someone? There we go. I'm gonna die from that. Almost got her. Okay. I should have probably stuck around there. Where is everyone? Dead. Everyone's respawning is where everyone is. Okay. I've created so much homebrew D&D content that I'm going to end up making a spin-off system. Like, you know Pathfinder? Pathfinder exists because people were like, hey, I want to keep playing 3rd edition, and they're not going to be updating it anymore, so we're just going to make a different game that's not technically D&D. Ha 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 ha. It's D&D. Pathfinder is just D&D. In theory, like, I enjoy 5th edition, but it has implicit world building in the mechanics, because all games have implicit world building in the mechanics, unless you're playing something that's designed specifically with the purpose of not doing that, like GURPS. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a separate D20 system, because I still want it to kind of feel like D&D, because I originally started building the world that I'm going to be using as the main setting for the system as a D&D setting, right? But like the world that is the default world for D&D is basically one of any of the official settings of D&D. That's what the rules are designed in the context of. That's what I don't need to run around. There's no one else here. The rules of D&D are designed in the context of the settings that exist for D&D. And those settings, therefore, are like the base game. You can make your own D&D worlds, but everything that you're putting in those D&D worlds is effectively derived from one or more of the official settings, because that's how working within a game system happens. You have to a certain extent, you will always, if you're making a D&D setting, you always have to include or exclude things based on whether the content is available in D&D. You can make homebrew. I guess what I'm trying to get at, the point that I'm trying to make with that broad statement was, it's a lot easier to homebrew additional content than it is to remove stuff from the game. Like, if you want to play in a custom world that you've made, there's going to be a point where you have to decide, hey, do I want to deal with explaining to a player that wants to play a tiefling, well, I didn't build this setting with any tiefling equivalent because I didn't want that in the world building? Or are you just gonna say, okay, I'll figure something out that's basically a tiefling, so that I don't have to tell my players that I literally didn't put tieflings in this setting? It's hard to remove content from the game by making a custom setting. And it's even the hard... Like, you can say, hey, this thing that's in the game isn't in the setting that I'm making for the game. That's... Like, you can do it. If you really want to just make everything a headache for yourself, change how a core mechanic works for your setting. The setting that I'm going to be doing my world building video about, right, my world building series, right? That setting has a magic system that is loosely based on Dungeons and Dragons' magic system. But the thing is, spell slots are kind of weird, right? And I wanted an in-world explanation for why magic works that way. But as I was going back and forth, tinkering with the lore to make it fit the mechanics better, tinkering with the mechanics to make it fit the lore better, what I ended up doing is I basically broke the magic system. Because there's a variant rule in the Dungeon Master's Guide called spell points, where instead of spell slots at all, of any level, of any amount, you have a pool of mana that you just cast your spells from by spending a specific amount per level of spell. Like, the cost, the mana cost of a spell is just determined by the level of the spell, right? And also, 6th level and higher, you only get to do that spell level once per day, which actually means it's a weird trade-off, because on one hand, I could have, like, it would have been easy to just say, alright, I don't like the way spell slots work because they don't make sense in character. I'm going to use spell points instead, and that's just the variant rule that this setting uses, and that would have been the end of that. But because I came up with a partial explanation for spell slots that just kind of worked, but didn't cover every spell level, I was like, well, I still want spell slots, and more importantly, I don't want players to only have one 6th level spell per day at 20th character level, because that's less than in the base game. And the spell point system, it has that disadvantage built into it for whatever reason. So what I ended up doing is I ended up hybridizing the spell point system with the spell slot system, so that the bottom half of your spellcasting progression as a full spellcaster is populated by spell points, and then the top half is populated by spell slots, which means at level 1, right, you just have 2 spell slots. You just have 2 first level spell slots because that's how that works anyway. Like, that doesn't change anything at level 1. At level 2, or whenever you unlock 2nd level spell slots, right? Your 2nd level spell slots are spell slots. You cast all your 1st level spells by spending spell points, but the amount of spell points you have is exactly the same as the number of, like, the number of spell points you have, which you can only use on 1st level spells, is enough to cast the number of 1st level spells you would be able to have spell slots for at that level anyway. So functionally, it's still not actually changed the mechanics in any way until you get to 3rd spell slot level, where suddenly all your spell slots are 3rd level, and your 2nd and 1st level spells are sharing the spell point system. And you take it all the way up to 20th level, your character as a full spellcaster has a big pool of spell points. I just thought that would be funny. You have a big pool of spell points. You can spend them on anything 5th level or lower, which means you can just spam 1st level spells. But you can also never cast a 1st level spell and get a few more 5th level spells than you otherwise would have, without, you know, feeling like you're wasting the 1st level spell slots by not using them. I missed. And then at the same time, right, you have the exact spell point total that you need to literally just act like you were still using spell slots. So the mechanics of the game could be treated as unchanged if you wanted to continue using them the same way, but you've got more versatility at the lower levels, and for 6th level and higher spells, you still have more than 1 per day for 6th and 7th level. Not for 8th and 9th. But now the spell slots that your character has have an actual, like, in-setting justification for existing at all. Which in most D&D settings, they kind of don't. Hey, we got the skin. We got the Reaper skin. We won that game. I'm supposed to answer 2 more questions. I don't know if I was in the... Okay. I'm just gonna... The challenge is complete, right? So, like, I'm not getting any more points in the challenge. I'll just work my way through the rest of these questions and then end the stream. Which means I should probably get back on topic. Especially since what I'm doing right now is basically just I'm basically just spoiling my world building series. I have no reason to do that. Right, this question was about whether you've created homebrew content for D&D. The answer is yes. Extensively. I've created homebrew content extremely, like, thoroughly, and I'm not stopping. I am literally making a separate system from D&D, the same way that Pathfinder happened. I'm doing that from the perspective of 5th edition, but with more changes to the base mechanics. Just to contain all my homebrew, because it's too complicated to count as 5th edition anymore. Like, I've changed too many things for it to actually count as 5e, so I'm just forking it off into a different system. Because I effectively did that anyway. The only thing I'm actually doing is codifying it and giving it a name. And, you know, making it standalone so that you don't have to use the D&D books to play the game that I've effectively made. I mean, like, obviously I didn't come up with the concept of a tabletop RPG, but I'm also not literally giving you a D&D, like, I'm not making... I'm making extensive changes to Dungeons & Dragons for the sake of a homebrew setting. Such extensive changes that I feel justified in creating a separate thing from D&D. I really should have left a teleporter somewhere, huh? Oh, wow. Yeah, the point is, when I start making my world building series, there's a chance that I'm also going to be making, like, system reference videos, or just describing the mechanics of stuff, because there's gonna be mechanics, and they're not going to just be like 5th edition mechanics. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, there's wizards in this setting, and then not explain what that means, because, oh, you know what a wizard is, you can look it up in the player's handbook. You can't look up what I'm talking about in the player's handbook, because I broke the magic system. This is the most long-winded yes that I've ever given to a question. I have to move on. The 16th question in this list of 20 questions that I was supposed to be answering. Why is Genji here? Question 16 is, do you usually prefer to take ability score increases or feats as you level up? Well, in terms of what's more interesting, I would prefer to take feats, but it's not practical to give up having high enough stats to compete with the challenge ratings of the creatures that you... I got stuck on that payload for way too long. I just right-clicked with one bullet in my chamber, didn't I? So, taking a feat instead of an ability score increase is more interesting, but if you don't take ability score increases... If you don't take enough ability score increases to max out the stats that you actually need for your character, then eventually bounded accuracy is going to absolutely rail you. And you literally won't be able to hit stuff anymore, because armor class scales with challenge rating. It's literally on the challenge rating table. Like, when you determine what the challenge rating of a creature is, one of the things it tells you is what armor class you should be aiming for. So, if you're working with like a 10 dexterity and a finesse weapon, eventually you lose the ability to hit things on your turn. And if every roll you make in the system is just going to fail, you're not playing a game, you're asking the DM if you can do stuff and getting no every time. That's not fun. Like, the thing that's more fun in the character creation menu is picking feats. But the thing that's more fun at the table is having stats that are high enough to actually play your character instead of, you know, not that. Occasionally, I've played games, obviously, where we rolled for stats, and in that scenario, I do sometimes end up with a stat array that's borderline maxed out to begin with. I hit the payload. I was aiming down the streets to try and line up shots on the group of enemies that's over there. Scared her off. That's what I was trying to do, so success. I keep hitting the thing. Don't want to hit the thing. I want it to go past there.
Enemies over there.
She's going around us again. She's just... I should actually aim when I try to shoot people. Or I could just die. When I roll stats and my stat array ends up being practically maxed out already, then obviously I'm going to take feats because there's nothing left for... There's no ability scores left for me to increase that make much of a difference, but giving my character a feat when I'm not able to roll high enough to actually do what I'm trying to do most of the time is just wasting a level up, basically. We're in a bad position. They have a Bastion and a Torbjorn on defense. And we have nothing that shuts that down. Well, technically I should be able to deflect the Bastion and make him kill himself. But I feel like most Bastions these days will stop shooting if a Genji drops on their head with the deflect animation up. So that's not a practical strategy. On paper, Genji counters Bastion because he just turns the ridiculous damage cone backwards, but no one's gonna let you get away with that these days. And also, I'm not good at Genji in the first place. Okay. I would like to just... didn't quite... He never went into sentry mode, so I didn't have any... Like, I could have been deflecting his regular bullets, but... question 17. If you could cast Wish once IRL, instead of, you know, once per day, which is what we established in a previous question, what would you wish for? This is barely even a D&D question. It's literally just, hey, you know, what is the thing you would wish for if given one wish? That's literally what the question is. I want to chase them and kill them, but I can't leave the payload because that's how the game works. Okay, what would I let's see. If I had a guarantee that it would work, right, then, I mean, you would just wish for, like, a printer that makes scrolls of wish, right? Although you don't necessarily have the ability to read spell scrolls. I need to have more health if I'm gonna do anything. Hello? I don't think we have an actual we have a Mercy. Where? Oh. She's brand new. Okay. If you could cast Wish once in real life, what would you wish for? I actually, so this is effectively the Luck Blade item, right? Because it comes with a set number of charges. A lot of DMs will make that number just 1 because, you know, it's Wish. I got a Luck Blade in a D&D game. I knew my character had an item with exactly 1 charge of the Wish spell in it. And I used that charge of the Wish spell just to cast the 8th level spell Illusory Dragon. We were level, like, 6 at the time, so it was definitely punching above our weight class to do that. But I was just replicating a different spell because, I don't know. Using Wish for something other than replicating a spell, first of all, it has a potential to backfire in the mechanics, but it's also just kind of, it doesn't feel as interesting to me. Wish as a spell is more interesting in the fact that it's a wild card spell rather than, oh, you can do literally anything. I don't want to do literally anything. I want to have all the options that are in the game. Oh, that's unfortunate. Nothing I was going to be able to do there. Oops. I'm good at typing. Should I just open loot boxes? That's probably going to be less distracting than playing an actual game, isn't it? Maybe I should just stop opening my highlights folder on stream. That's one thing that I should do. That has file paths. Oh yeah, I have a golden loot box because I bought, like, the special edition of this game. The rest of the stream is just me opening loot boxes and, answering 3 D&D questions.
How amusing.
I still have 31 winter loot boxes. Okay, question 18. What's your favorite legendary... Oh, I didn't actually answer question 17. So, what's your favorite... No. Question 17 is... if you could cast Wish once, what would you wish for?
Asústame, Panteón.
I don't know. That's a very open-ended question. It's hard to actually address in any meaningful way.
Expecting a miracle.
So as much as I tried to make an effort to, like, you know, go back and answer the question because I realized I hadn't answered it, I'm now choosing not to answer it because it's too complicated. Question 17 is accounted for, not answered, but accounted for. Question 18 is, what is your favorite legendary artifact or item? This is a stupid answer, but my favorite legendary magic item in D&D is Sovereign Glue. And the reason that's a stupid answer is because the fact that that's a legendary item is a little... I mean, legendary consumable items... legendary rarity seems incredibly wasteful on any consumable item. But Sovereign Glue is just hilarious, especially if you don't use it for something that's worth expending a legendary item. You know what I wanted to do in a game? But obviously I've never had Sovereign Glue. I've never had access to Sovereign Glue before in a game. But if I did, you know what I would do? I would take the regular thing that you can just have. I would take a hunting trap and a shield. Those are just two mundane equipment items. I mean, if I had a better version of either one, I would obviously use that instead. But I would just take a hunting trap and glue it to a shield. That is exactly what I would do with with Sovereign Glue. It is not practical in any way. It is not mechanically good. Like, there's no reason for that to be a thing that I do in any capacity, but, you know, I just think it would be funny. Question 19 of 20. We're getting up there. So, it is, if you could play a one-shot with any people in the world, who would you play it with, and who would DM? Honestly, I would, that's a, I would, I think it would be very cool to meet the... Well, see, the thing is, there's a bunch of famous people that play D&D, and in theory, it's cool when, like, in theory, meeting famous people is cool, but only if you have context on what they're famous for, so... Like, I don't know, other than Matt Mercer, I don't know who's in Critical Role, because I'm not really interested in the show. So I'm not gonna say, yes, the Critical Role cast, because, like, that's not... I don't know, I don't actually have any... I don't have anyone in particular that I'm like, oh, I want to meet that person, you know? It would be cool to play in the, Unexpectables group, just because it's such an entertaining group, but I would feel weird. Like, here's the thing, right? This question is very annoying at me. This is a bad question to ask me specifically, because you take me... if you put me in any group of strangers, I'm not gonna have a good time. Unless it's really... unless it's an activity that is inherently enjoyable, and the group is effective at, like, doing that activity properly. Like, not actively disruptive, you know? And I mean, the people who are literally professional D&D players probably know how to stay on topic during a one-shot. So, if you pick someone that is a D&D streamer, right, or D&D streaming group to play a one-shot with, you'd probably have a very successful one-shot. But yeah, the problem with this question is that if I pick people I don't know, then I'm choosing to play a full several-hour D&D session with people that I've never met before, and it's like, that seems intimidating. Sure. Now it's any people in the world. You could do some really funny things, especially if you had the option to if you had the option to stream the one shot, right?
How embarrassing.
I almost don't even want to be in the one shot. I just want the power to force a specific group of people to play D&D. Like, wouldn't it be funny if just wouldn't it be funny if there was a D&D group that consisted of all the people who have played the Doctor that are still alive, which is like 11 people, which is entirely too many for an actual D&D group. But you know, I would be interested in seeing what happens, you know. So that's yet another question that I basically didn't actually answer because I don't know how to deal with it. The scenario that they're proposing is unreasonable.
Okay.
The last question on the list is question 20. If you were a god in a D&D universe, what would your domain be? Interesting. Probably Arcana. There's an Arcana domain, right? Because I don't want to pick the knowledge domain. That's really self-absorbed. Like, yes, I have all the information about everything always. But Arcana is a more specific thing, and it's, I mean, the mechanics of the domain are just like, hey, this is the subclass of cleric that gets to pretend to be a wizard sometimes. But if you look at the word arcana, right? The actual definition of arcana is stuff that is obscure. Like, it's knowledge, but really offbeat knowledge, like random subjects that have a lot of depth without necessarily having a lot of practical applications, you know? And that is an apt description of my personality. A ton of random knowledge that I can't really use for anything in particular, but I mean, I cover a lot of bases, and in some of those categories, I know way more details than is actually reasonable for someone to you know, read up on. So yeah, I
Sorry, but I need to jet.
this is getting to the my throat is very tired. I haven't had anything that is not air available for the entire, I've been talking for what, like two and a half hours. I've been talking for 2.5 hours straight, trying to anyway, and I don't have a water bottle, like, so you know, I've answered the D&D questions. That's a thing that I did. I did that by reading them on stream instead of engaging with twitter.com. Let me go ahead and read the chat, because I completely missed it for the entire stream, because I literally didn't have the tab open because I was reading Twitter, because that's where my actual questions were. I'm going to change my mouse profile so that I have copy and paste equipped again. So, this is Kitty Loaf. Hi, Kitty Loaf. You're gonna buy the Eggo Pop-Tarts. I could go get the Eggo Pop-Tarts and come back and eat them on stream. Like, I could technically do that. Which Reaper challenge I'm doing the, well, I did the Code of Violence challenge. Just the thing that gives you the skin. Did I already finish it? Well, now that I'm reading this chat way after you sent it, I did technically already finish it, but no, the challenge was literally just to play games of any mode, and I did that. So, you know, Parker told me to say he sent me. Yeah, hi, thanks, Parker. Welcome, Layhley. I'm sorry that I can't pronounce this name that has an H''L in it, but also I don't feel too bad about not being able to pronounce H''L. So, welcome. Sorry that I completely ignored you when you actually talked, but, you know, appreciate you stopping by. Nice to meet you. Shirley Caleb. Vin.fyi. That's also something that was said with different capitalization at the beginning of the stream. By another person with a generic name. I mean, you know, it's not a very helpful chat message. Vin Fyi, you know. Are you trying to hex me? Are you trying to perhaps cast a spell that summons more viewers? That would be helpful. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close Overwatch, and then I'm gonna flip a coin here, and on a heads, I'm gonna go get some Eggo flavored Pop-Tarts. I guess I'm gonna roll a pair of silver dice instead of flipping a coin, because I don't have a coin within reach, but I do have these Chessex aluminum plated 16mm D6s that I bought as a Dolls of New Albion reference. Impulse bought aluminum plated. That's interesting. These are fun. So yeah, if I get two even number, no, that doesn't. So I'm gonna roll 2 6-sided dice, and if the total is even, then I'm gonna go get some Eggo flavored Pop Tarts, and I'm gonna bring them back, and I'm gonna tell you what I think of them. And if the total is odd, I'm just gonna hit the end stream button. That is a 6 and a 4. Okay, I'll be right back, I guess. Enjoy this stream overlay that I put almost the opposite of effort into. Yeah, I'll be right back with Eggo Pop Tarts. I don't think anyone's actually here right now, so I don't know who I'm telling that I'll be right back, but you know, I'll be right back. I've never recorded myself eating something before. This is probably, like, not a good use of the resources I have available, but I've got a... Hear that? That's Eggo flavored Pop-Tarts that I'm opening. Why am I doing... Okay, I'm just gonna try these now. They're definitely the same color as Eggos. Ooh. I hope these are good. I didn't toast them because I didn't want that much dead air on the stream, because that would be really awkward. Not that it's not already awkward to eat Pop-Tarts on stream as a VTuber. Like, you can't even see what I'm doing. I just told you that I'm eating Pop-Tarts. For all you know, I'm not doing that. I'm just voice acting as though my mouth was full. I don't know why I would do that. That's not a pleasant, like, experience. But these Pop-Tarts are actually, they're not bad. I didn't toast them. I'm sure they'll be better toasted. Almost every flavor of Pop-Tart is better toasted. But even just this. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like these. There's like a hint of syrup flavor. Yeah, it's Eggos with syrup, which is not normally how I eat them. I usually just pop open a box of Eggos and nom 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 nom. Grab the Eggo just straight out of the, well, not straight out of the box because the box is in the freezer, but I take it and then I put it in the toaster and then I take the Eggo out of the toaster and I don't prepare it any further. It's just toasted Eggo and then I eat the Eggo. These have a little bit of syrupy flavoring, which is nice. It enhances the actual Pop-Tart flavor so that you get like the full waffle experience without actually having to make waffles, which is convenient because Pop-Tarts, you know, they're one of the easiest breakfasts to prepare. You just either straight up eat them or you throw them in the toaster for like a minute and you know it's warm Pop-Tarts. Yeah, these are, I was worried about these, so I didn't get a very large number of them, but I'm no longer worried. This is pretty good. I don't know how to do outros, even when I'm scripting videos and like I know what the point of the video is, I don't know how to end videos. This is worse. This is so much worse. Because I'm live, right? I can't decide. Like, I don't know what the point of the stream was. The point of the stream was just to, like, answer a Twitter trend that I saw and get a Reaper skin before it expired. Which I did both of those things. And now I'm eating Pop-Tarts, and I don't... I should just stop streaming, really. I should go away. So I'm gonna do that. That's the plan.